This man was incredibly unlucky. He accidentally fell into a swamp, and the soft, wet soil caused him to sink quickly. In no time, only the top half of Shiyun's head was still floating above the mushy mud. As Shiyun struggled, his sinking speed increased. Fortunately, his companions on the side promptly threw him a rope, temporarily slowing down his descent. However, at this moment, Shiyun's son, afraid that his father wouldn't have the strength to hold on, impulsively jumped into the swamp in a panic. Seeing this, the companions on shore had no choice but to join forces to pull on the cable, hoping to rescue the father and son through it. But the weight of two people was simply too heavy, and the cable couldn't withstand the strain, snapping apart. Without the cable's pull, the two began to sink at an accelerated pace. At this critical juncture, the companions on shore suddenly had an idea. One of them ran to a nearby room, grabbed a stool, and smashed it against the window. Instantly, a large amount of soil poured into the room, stabilizing the sinking father and son. With the companions continuously digging, the two were finally rescued successfully. As luck would have it, the drone's signal was restored at this very moment. When the drone returned to the ground, the rescue team urgently reviewed the video footage. Through the recording, they discovered there were survivors underground. They immediately airdropped relief supplies into the area below. Seeing the satellite phone among the airdropped items, old Piao quickly grabbed it to call his wife. However, upon connecting, his wife informed him that their son was missing. The last known location showed he was in this building. Realizing his son might be down there, old Piao prepared to go rescue him alone. Tying the rope around his body, old Piao jumped into the elevator shaft by himself, asking the others to hold tightly to the other end of the rope above. He opened the hatch to enter the elevator, attempting to pry open the doors with his hands. Meanwhile, the rescue team on the surface began the second round of rescue efforts. Suddenly, the tilted building next to them started to collapse, with debris continuously falling into the deep pit. The falling rocks dropped into the elevator shaft, causing the rope secured above to come loose. Old Piao below was also hit in the leg by a stone, but fortunately, it wasn't serious. Old Piao got up, moved the rocks aside, and started searching for his son everywhere. Suddenly, he saw his son's stroller on the ground. Old Piao was devastated. At this moment, he heard his son's cry for help behind him. He quickly rushed over and moved the stones, finally finding his son Xuguan hiding in a pipe. Old Piao excitedly hugged his son tightly. Just then, he saw an elderly woman also trapped here upstairs. Old Piao wanted to take the old lady with him to leave, but she refused. It turned out she wanted to stay to accompany her grandson who had already passed away. Seeing the large amount of rainwater pouring in, old Piao had no choice but to bid farewell to the old woman. Carrying his son on his back, he slowly climbed towards the roof. With the rainwater continuously rushing towards them, old Piao didn't dare to slack off for a moment, because the slightest mistake would cause him and his son to fall and lose their lives. As they climbed, they called out to the survivors on the roof for help. Hearing old Piao's cries for rescue, they quickly saved the father and son. By this time, the water had already submerged their knees. Seeing the water level still rising, they could only run to the roof to wait for rescue. Unfortunately, when they reached the rooftop, they discovered a huge structure looming above them, looking like it could come crashing down at any moment. The name of this movie is Sinkhole.